In this video, we're going to talk about the jacketed condenser. So this is the jacketed condenser, and its goal is to take gas and condense it into liquid. First, that can happen in any type of cylinder. A cylinder could just trap a gas inside of it, and the gas would collect and condense into little droplets, sort of like they condense into droplets on the lid of a pot when you're boiling water in it. So you can use any cylinder, for example, and this would just be a normal condenser that you could use, and the gas would collect on the sides of the cylinder, collect in beads, and then drip through it. And so it would condense the gas into a liquid. That's a normal condenser. A jacketed condenser, in addition to having a cylinder, will have a second cylinder of glass wrapping around it, almost like a jacket. And so you can see here, inside there's a cylinder of glass, and then outside of it there's a second cylinder of glass. There's an empty space in between those two cylinders of glass, and that space is fed by two connectors on either end of this jacketed condenser. What we're going to do is we're going to fill that empty space in with water, and the cold temperature of the water will help the steam in the middle, or the gas in the middle of this cylinder, the middle cylinder, it'll help that to cool down. So we'll pump cold water through here, it'll flow through the area between the two cylinders, come out the other side, and in the process, the cold temperature of that water will help to make gases liquefy in the middle there. And so there's any condenser that has those two glass cylinders, one wrapping around the other, is a jacketed condenser. To get the water in and out of the jacketed condenser, we're going to need some tubing. And so this is an example of the type of tubing that we have available in the laboratory. You need two separate tubes, one to go into the jacketed condenser and one to come out, to bring water in, and the other to bring water out. So to give you a sense of how to attach the tubing to the jacketed condenser, here you see me attaching one piece of tubing to what I'll call the lower end of the jacketed condenser. You don't want to put it all the way on, then it'll be too difficult to get off, but you want to put it on enough so that when you put water through it, the water won't kick it off. So you can see maybe one or two rungs of the connector. So those are our two pieces of tubing, and when you put water in, it's really important that you have water go through the exit side. So this is the entrance side, this is the exit side. You want the water to come in toward the bottom side of the condenser, and then to flow up through it and to come back down through the other side. If you don't do that, then the condenser will never be able to completely fill up with water. So it's crucial that you have the bottom, the exit side, attached to the faucet. So for example, here I've switched it around. Notice the exit side is over here. We want the water to flow up through the right side in this case. The side that will be lower down, flow up through the condenser and come back out the other side. And just to give you a sense of what that looks like, make sure you, of course, you use the cold water. The whole point is to cool down the gases in the inside cylinder. You can see it filling up. You can see how there's this empty space that you need to fill. So long as you have the water coming in from the lower side, the exit side, you can fill all of that space up with water. But if you've attached the entrance side to the water faucet, then it will never fill up completely with water. And there's our jacketed condenser. The inner condenser is wearing a jacket of water. And here's, you can see what it looks like once it's attached to the finished distillation apparatus. So this tube near the exit, that will have water coming in. The water will flow through, cool down the vapors so that they liquefy and drip into your receiving flask. Excuse me. The water then will come out this other tube, so these are two separate tubes. The other tube needs to be placed in the sink so that when water comes out of it, it just goes down the drain. And that's a jacketed condenser. The goal of it is to liquefy gases, and it does that by cooling them, and it uses the cold temperature of the water surrounding the inner tube to cool those gases down and liquefy them.